Alright, YouTubers, welcome back. Got another vintage retro pack break. I got 2 packs of 1984 Fleer. Just picked these up on eBay. The guy was selling them because it had a Pete Rose on the front, and I guess there's a Pete Rose also showing on the back. I bought them because it had my favorite A's middle reliever, Bill Kruger, and Wayne Gross, utility infielder, on the front here, as well as my Dave Winfield All-Star and Tim, don't call me Rock Raines. So, go ahead and break these open. The 1984 Topps doesn't really have any notable rookies other than, I think, Darryl Strawberry and Don Mattingly. There's no Hall of Fame rookies like in 1983. And the design is very similar to 1983, the year prior, except they moved the heads into the square box as opposed to the circle here. I'm using my Bill Allman card as a reference here. So go ahead and rip into these. Other than a few single packs, I haven't really opened, I have never opened a solo pack of this year. So let's get into this and see what we get. Always looking for Hall of Famers. Looking for the Strawberry and the Mattingly rookies. But other than that, not too much. And I was too good with my scissors there. I made a solo pack there. There it goes. Alright. Let's see what we got here. We got Wayne Gross. And I'm on a crappy back of a picture here. The table I always use for my breaks is housing my Christmas Village. So, yeah, Wayne Gross, Bill Russell, Lou Piniella. He probably had a long, distinguished career because he looks pretty old in that. Kevin Largemouth Bass, Rick Sutcliffe with the Indians, Bob Stanley, who never takes a good picture, it looks like. Got about 4 sets of chins there. Jerry Koosman, Rick Cerone, Willie Upshaw, Lynn Jones. I'm not a fan of the just blank colored background around the faces there on the inset photo. It looks pretty pretty lame. They should have just left the background on there, at least made it a team color. Richie Zisk, Rich Dower, haven't heard of half of these guys. Lloyd Mosby, Doug Bird, Alfredo Griffin, the Blue Jays, huh? Jim Sundberg, Steve Rogers. That's obviously taking an old candlestick, it looks like, with the chain link fence in the background. And a Pete Rose there. Got 2 Pete Roses. Alright. Pete Rose is the only solid pull out of that little sleeve, so hopefully the second one will pull something. Already got my Dave Steve, Mr. So close with the no-hitters, but couldn't quite finish the job. Rich Gossage, there's a Hall of Famer. Manager Bobby Cox, before he gained a lot of weight with the Braves. Harold Baines. No, that's like a 4th-year card. Willie Wilson. The Quiz. Rest in peace. Gorman Thomas. Solid 4 years there. Doug, don't call me Carlton Sisk. Lou Whitaker. Always loved the batting helmet on top of the fielding hat. Made for a really dumb look there, as you can see. Rod Carew at first base, Hall of Famer. I don't have too many Rod Carews, so I always like pulling guys I don't have too many of. Greg Walker, Rich Gedman, John Wathan, soon to be manager a few years later. Jim Wolford, Mike Vail, Tim Raines, another Hall of Famer there. Glenn Hubbard with the epic beard, before the beard was cool. Jack Morris with the batting glove on his fielding hand there. Obviously that's illegal now because of the white backdrop for the hitters. Ron Davis. So pulled a couple of good players out of that sleeve. Tim Raines, Carew, and the Rich Gossage. Let's go on to the last part here of the first pack. Still looking for a Mattingly rookie or Strawberry, Dave Winfield, Hall of Famer. Mark Thurman of the Padres. We got a 3-card Cecil Cooper, Rod Carew, and George Brett, AL active career batting leaders. I always kind of like pulling those. I don't know why. They're not worth the diddly poo, but I think they look cool. John Henry Johnson, Tom Niedenfuer, Lloyd Mosby, All-Star. Well, those All-Stars aren't that bad looking. They got much more hideous in the late 80s. I've chronicled that in previous breaks. Charlie Pulio, Ron Oyster, Chuck Porter, Sweet Checklist, Rick Burleson, Frank LaCourte, Dave Rozema, Steve Lubritich, I think. White Sox batting and pitching leaders, Rich Dotson and Carlton Fisk. Fisk's a Hall of Famer. Luis Sanchez, George Bjorkman, Len Barker, and Scott Fletcher. That's a sweet Scott Fletcher rookie, I believe. Also rocking the fielding cap under his batting helmet. Alright, on to the second pack here. Starting it off, we got that Pete Rose there right in front. Steve Trout, Tom O'Malley, hideous Giants logo, or Giants jerseys back then with the kind of cheap cursive writing on there. Ron Hassey, Bob Forsch, Ed Romero, Juan Beniquez, Garth Iorg, Butch Weiniger, kind of looks like Duke. What do you think, Tom? Does that look like Duke? A little bit. Eric Rasmussen, Jim Mahler, Darrell Brown, Ron Guidry, also rocking the batting glove on his glove hand, Dan Barladello, I think, Rennie Martin, Charlie Hudson, Tom Bugmeyer, and a Jim Rice All-Star to finish that sleeve. Alright, we got my Bill Kruger here on top with the yellow A's jerseys. Steve Nicosia, I think. Mike Brown. Rick Peters. Jim Anderson. Reggie Jackson. There's a Reggie I don't have. Always had that good follow through with the two hands rotating through. Made for good action shots. Glenn Abbott. Wonder if he's related to Jim Abbott of the one-handed variety pitcher. Tom Brennan. Lenny Ferrado. Bob Watson rocking the shades. Mike Schmidt All-Star. I think I pulled that in a previous break. Craig Reynolds. Len Sakata. Wonder if there's related to John, even though it's spelled different. Danny Heap of Crap. Another Rod Carew. Jason Thompson. The Hawk All-Star. Michael Koss with the Astros before he went to the Giants. And Lynn Whitehouse. All right, it's last sleeve here with the Tim Smoking Rock Rains. Smoking Crack Rock. Get back on camera here. Tim Raines All-Star. Still looking for a Mattingly. Richie Zisk. Andy Hawkins. Jim Easterly. Bill Choder. Another Juan Beniquez. Jim Sundberg. Steve Rogers. John Butcher. Doug Frobel with the sweet photo down there in the bottom corner looking good. Another Tom O'Malley. Another Darrell Brown. Chuck Tanner. Coach. Louis Pujols. Wonder if he was as good a hitter as Albert Buttholes. Nope. 192 career hitter after playing like 6 years in the bigs. Yikes. Ed Romero. Randy Martin. Charlie Hudson. Dan Petrie. And Bob Lillis. That ends that awesome break of 1984 rack packs here. Let's review my good pulls. Raines. Dawson All-Star. Rod Carew. Schmidt All-Star. Reggie. Jim Rice All-Star. Pete Rose. Carlton Fisk Team Leader. Carew and George Brett. Dave Winfield All-Star. Tim Raines again. Another Carew. Gossage. And another Pete Rose. Not too bad. I only paid about $10 for these just because of the lack of rookies. So, hope you enjoyed the break, and we'll see you next time.